if you were to watch this movie and really follow along, say you were keeping your detective notes and you're writing everything down, could you actually figure this movie out? Or is it like Scooby-Doo where no matter how hard you really think, they just like surprise you and say, this is what it was at the end. And you're like, oh, well, okay. Like, do they give you enough pieces, or is it reliant on you to watch the entire thing and then them show you things that you haven't seen yet in order for it to make sense? Welcome to DTF Watch This. These are the episodes where we tell you movies that we watched recently that we think you should check out too. Today, we're going to be doing the new Knives Out movie, Glass Onion, and it has one of my favorite actors of all time, Edward Norton. And also, if you haven't checked it out...
Daniel Craig, he's not too bad either.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But we also have a little Fight Club episode. Just go and click on wherever we put the link stuff and go check that out too. Boost our reviews. But Glass Onion, I was excited about it because as soon as I saw Edward Norton, I was like, I'm gonna for sure be watching this. So what did you think about it though, man? I mean, I enjoyed it. I felt confused probably most of the movie, but then it all kind of comes together in true Knives Out fashion.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed pretty much everything with Ed Norton, Daniel Craig. It was not quite as good as the first Knives Out, which I really enjoyed, but I definitely think you should watch this, and I hope they make like a whole series, a whole slew of these, because I find them interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the first Knives Out in the theater and really enjoyed it. I really like these types of movies that kind of, take a while to figure out what's going on. I feel like Knives Out, the first one, was a little bit easier to follow than Glass Onion, but Glass Onion has so many different layers, hence the onion. So as soon as I kind of felt like I figured things out, like some other layer would come in. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on anymore, but I'm still intrigued and I still want to do this.
Like another Daniel Craig movie, Layer Cake, which we have to do because that is a fantastic movie. We're going to do that.
Is it like a twisty movie too, or is it just an awesome dance? Ooh, okay, I'm in.
We're not doing that one now, so we'll do it at another date. So subscribe, because if you like Layer Cake, you're going to want to watch that episode. But what I liked about the first one more was he wasn't so much of a Sherlock Holmes like he was in Glass Onion. And this one, he knew everything right away. Like, oh, this is why. And blah, 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 blah. In the first one, he was figuring it out. He kind of knew who was involved, but he hadn't quite figured it out. And he was building up to it. And he had to do detective work. Yeah. Whereas in this one, I felt like he was a little too quick to have all the answers to everything. But, and I don't want to give things away. You kind of feel like, oh, the movie's over early on. Yeah. But then you're like, oh, okay, but it's going kind of in a different direction. And so
that's what I mean. It just kept building on these layers. You're like, okay, everything's figured out. He figured it out. We know what happened. Where are they going to go with this? And then it's like, bam, this happens. And then, you got little secret things of Dave Bautista's character, hiding his phone, but showing little hints. And you're like, okay, well, what was that about? Why won't he show it to the other person? And you're just trying to piece everything together. Now, I have a question though. When I was watching this, because I felt confused the entire time. And I kept asking Diana, I was like, I didn't miss anything, right? They don't they don't explain how all these people are connected in the beginning. It starts connecting them later. So I was confused there. But I was also just curious, does this one link up to the first one at all?
No, just the fact. No, it's a whole new mystery.
Okay,
so the only reason it links up is Daniel Craig's character.
Yeah, I almost, because it's been a long time since I've seen Knives Out, the first one. And then it took me a while and I was like, oh wait, Daniel Craig was in the first one and he did the same thing. But I'm like, why is he here now?
Yeah. Well, he's just this world-renowned detective. Okay. And I feel like they even, in Glass Onion, I feel like they mentioned, oh, you're the one that solved that big case, which wasn't even the original movie. So I feel like whatever that case was, they should make a movie about that.
Oh, so you think I just kind of assumed it was the first case, like from the first movie. So they're talking about a completely different one. Now that'd be kind of interesting.
And I could be wrong, but I don't remember what the case they were talking about in this movie was the first movie. So yeah, but I mean, this one had a pretty much nice all-star cast as well. You know, the first one really had, you know, some great characters in it, but I feel like this one had a little more comedy element to it.
Yeah.
Than the first one did. Like, for instance, that roommate who just kind of like shows up all the time and is never explained.
Yeah, I thought that for sure he would have a bigger part. I didn't look, I don't think. Was there an end credit scene? Because that would seems like the perfect character for like an end credit scene.
No, I didn't look.
I didn't look either. So now I got to go check and see.
Yeah.
Or he could have just been some stupid character that's always like, I'm just here. You don't see me.
Dude crashing on the couch.
Okay. I lost my train of thought earlier, but I was thinking, if you were to watch this movie and really follow along, say you were keeping your detective notes and you're writing everything down, could you actually figure this movie out? Or is it like Scooby-Doo where no matter how hard you really think, they just like surprise you and say, this is what it was at the end. And you're like, oh, well, okay. Like, do they give you enough pieces, or is it reliant on you to watch the entire thing and then them show you things that you haven't seen yet in order for it to make sense?
There was one clue, and I won't give it away, but with the painting, there was always something, and I couldn't figure out if it was a specific word or an action, but there was something that happened with the painting every time. And I'm like, that's got to be a clue. That's some sort of foreshadowing.
That's what I kept doing.
I couldn't figure it out.
I kept looking at weird little details and trying to figure it out, which I felt like was a really cool way to engage me as like an audience, feeling like I'm part of the murder mystery itself. And I'm like, I want to know what's happening. Like, you're trying to figure out the movie itself, but also I'm like, I want to solve this myself too. Have you ever been to like a murder mystery dinner?
I was just going to ask you, have you ever been to one?
No.
My friend was putting one on, and I had the costume, and we had great characters. And it never ended up happening because of stupid COVID. But like, it was gonna be awesome. I hope she puts it back on. Straley, if you're watching this, put it back on.
Yeah, I think it would be super fun and to do, especially after watching this whole movie. But I've done escape rooms, which is, it kind of reminded me of similar to that, but less puzzly, I guess, like turning knobs and stuff and opening random drawers and
but sometimes those escape rooms you can just accidentally stumble upon like the way out. It's like, oh crap. But those are always fun. I like those.
I've done a few of them. Some are super hard though, man. The horror ones are pretty crazy though, when they have like the actual actors in there. I got scared so many times. They would just
I've never done one like that.
Oh yeah, dude was like crying in the corner and rocking and stuff, and then all of a sudden you'd be like trying to solve like how to get to the next room, and then he'd be gone. And then all of a sudden
was that Jigsaw? Was that the real Jigsaw?
Yeah, man. And then he would just slap a wall next to you, and you'd be like, "Oh!" I almost had to bleep myself out there for a sec, but
I watched the first one again the next day after I watched Glass Onion. Yeah. And just to kind of refresh myself so I could compare the two. And yeah, definitely, I would say the first one is just a little bit better, but not.
Now, is it better because like the story itself, or is it better because you liked the actors better, or?
No, I like the actors in both of them.
Yeah.
But I think the storyline in the first one was just a little bit better.
I think I might agree, just because it wasn't intended to be like this murder mystery, because you're diving into Glass Onion as like, this is a game that they all play, and it's this murder mystery thing. They all get together and do this thing. Whereas in the first Knives Out, it was like a rich guy ends up dying, right? And you're trying to figure out who killed him, or if somebody killed him. Yeah. And then there's money involved and people wanting that wealth.
Yeah, but same storyline with this one. wealth involved. People want that money.
Yeah.
Willing to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm. But I definitely think it's worth a watch. I think they did a good job. And like, if you said that they're talking about a different mystery, I totally want to see it. I want to see what Daniel...
I'm going to have to go back and check that out because that one I don't remember, but I feel like it was a totally different mystery.
I'm going to say it's fact because you put it down and now it's etched
Everything on the internet is true.
Yeah, etched into internet history. Totally trustworthy source.
It was in 4chan. Or is that the porn one?
Oh man, I never dove into like the scary internet stuff. Too deep for me. I think everybody should go check it out. If you're just scrolling through Netflix, if you loved Knives Out, you'll probably really enjoy this one too. Yeah. It's just a little bit different.
Watch it so they make more of these.
Yeah.
Let's get that viewership up.
Yeah, I love these movies that really... Actually, this one felt like a board game to me. Like, I kept thinking Clue. Like, every time I watched this one. Because they had and I feel like why Daniel's character was, like the detective character, was such a detective character in this is because I feel like they're playing on the board game tropes of specific acts. So specific acts felt like, oh, this feels like Clue, and this feels like this. And they always have, like, the typical... detective character that's walking up to the door and you got to solve it before he gets there because he's just going to crack the case wide open and arrest whoever. So yeah, there was a lot of that too. Just board game nods, I feel like.
Yeah, it definitely had that Clue feel to it, which is probably why I liked it, because I loved the movie Clue when I was a kid.
I don't think I've ever watched the movie
You've
Clue.
never watched the movie Clue?
Nah, you got to play the real thing, man.
Well, did you have a favorite character in this one?
I don't know. I think all the characters had their own unique personalities, and I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite.
Because in the first one, I think Chris Evans was my favorite character.
Oh, for sure. Like, I think you have to like Chris Evans. He was like at the top of his game with all the big movies and stuff. He's in the Captain America. And that's another thing, a little thing that they do got going is they have another Marvel character in there with Dave Bautista from Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like, do they have to have a Marvel character in there? Maybe.
I don't know. That Bautista guy is always funny.
Yeah. Dave Bautista is pretty hilarious. So,
and muscular like me.
But like I said, if I'm going to go with like favorite characters, man, Edward Norton's just an awesome actor for me. And
I feel like we got to do another Ed Norton movie. Like, what was that? Primal Fear?
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that like his first one with Richard Gere? Like that was like one of his like breakout movies. He does.
That was a good one. And that was the ending on that one. So
Edward Norton
should do that
really
one too.
Loves like movies with a twist too.
Yeah.
We'll just stay away from American History X or something, even though it's a really good movie too.
That was a fantastic movie. It's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Cinematography wise.
That'd be like a heavy episode though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I think that's it for me. So hit up the socials, like, subscribe, do all the cool things that we want you to do, and go watch Knives Out. Watch them both, and get some perspective. But
Knives Out.
Until next time.
See you guys.
Peace.
Bye.